Hey, Cedar Rapids, how you doing? Excellent, excellent. Well, please help me welcome our special guest, the Honky Tonk Man. The Honky Tonk Man has been an icon in the wrestling industry for over 40 years. His WWE career saw him hold the Intercontinental Championship for 64 weeks. So, yes. So, can you give us a little bit about your origin story, how you got into the business?
I was an extension of childhood. I never wanted to grow up. I wanted to play around in skimpy tights. Now, I was a teacher and a coach in high school. I graduated from the University of Memphis. And my cousin, Jerry the King Lawler, I saw Jerry last weekend. He's doing okay. It's good to see him. I hadn't seen him since he had his problems. But he was wrestling, and he was an artist. He was on art scholarship at the University of Memphis. He's as good as anybody who's ever drawn for Marvel or anyone. He's that good. And he was on art scholarship. And I was the athlete. I mean, here he was, he said draw pictures, but I was a guy that would run and jump and throw. But then I met some guys while I was in college who wanted to do wrestling, and they ended up finding a place to go and do it, and invited me to go one Sunday night. And I went up to this barn about 100 miles out of Memphis and started training. And they quit after about 2 weeks, and I stayed. And the guy that was the only other guy there was a young fellow named Coco Beware. So we kind of trained each other, and I liked it. I enjoyed doing it, and then when I started having matches, I enjoyed it more. I enjoyed getting beat up, I guess, because that's what happens with young guys. And I decided that I was going to go on the road and do this. And I resigned from teaching school and coaching at the end of the season, Christmas that year, packed my bags and was going on the road. And I saw Lawler at a Christmas party with my family. And he said, how's wrestling? I said, good, I'm going down to Mobile next week. He said, did you hear? I said, no, what? They closed the territory. What? I ain't got no job now, no place to go to work. And he said, I said, geez, I was counting on doing that. He said, well, you want to come work with us? I said, well, yeah, I guess. He said, okay, TV's tomorrow at 11, be there at 10. And I went there for a TV match and put a mask on and wrestled on one TV match, got beat up, took the mask off, went back and did the TV matches myself, got beat up again. I made $20. And he said, buy more outfits, I can book you more. And I had no money, how am I going to buy outfits anyway? But that was the thing, and that's how it started. And I had a 5-year plan. I'll do this 5 years. If it doesn't work, I'll go back to teaching school and coaching. And 5 years went by, and I started traveling Pensacola, and Mobile, and Nashville, and Memphis. And 5 more years went by, then 5 more, and all of a sudden, how many did you say, 40? Yeah, that's kind of how it started. And then, after about, I don't know, 7 or 8 years in the business, I was in Pensacola and Mobile, and I met these 2 kids that were coming in from Florida. They needed a place to stay. They had no money, and myself and a fellow named Dr. D. David Schultz, we shared our apartment with them, charged them no rent because they had no money. One of them's name was Eddie Boulder. They were the Boulder brothers, big bodybuilders. Eddie Boulder and Terry Boulder. Eddie Boulder became Brutus the Barber Beefcake. Terry Booker became Hulk Hogan, brother. And so, about 10 years later, I was in Calgary, Canada, working with Bret Hart, and the best there ever was, the best there ever is, and the Hart family. And they had a big show in Calgary, and Stu Hart was able to put me on the show. And Hogan and Andre and all these guys in the locker room that I had known over the past 15 years, they were all there. And Hogan asked me if I wanted to come and join them guys. He said he would tell Vince McMahon about me. And the next morning, Vince called. I flew to New York that was on a Monday. Flew to New York on a Wednesday. He saw a tape on me, talked to me for 20 minutes, hired me, and that's how it happened.
Okay. So you
I went from rags to riches.
So, can you talk a little bit about the sort of evolution of your persona as Honky Tonk Man?
Okay, while I was in Pensacola, Mobile, I had long blonde hair. And I had a partner, Larry Latham, who was Spot Moondog in WWE. We were partners. He had been partners with my other cousin, a boy named Carl Fergie, and they had toured around and been places. And Carl had went off to Louisiana on his own, and Larry needed a partner. They booked, Jarrett booked me in Tampa, and Ole Anderson out of Atlanta booked Larry in Tampa for us to be in a tag team tournament there. We both had blonde hair, so Jerry Briscoe put us together and called us the Blonde Bombers. And we were there for a while. And then we did, after that, we left there and did the Tupelo concession stand match, some of you might have seen, with Lawler, Dundee, myself, and Larry. And then I ended up going to Puerto Rico and breaking away from Larry. And I got back from Puerto Rico, went to Japan, went to Nashville, back to Pensacola. I just needed to get rid of the long blonde hair. It wasn't working. And I did a hair dye match where I dyed my hair black with a boy named Austin Idol. And while I was there, I was driving along one night and I could hear this song on the radio. The singer, Johnny Hart, was, I'm a honky tonk man.
Can I get your picture? Excuse me, can I get your picture?
And the song had the words and things in it. I love to give the girl a whirl with the music of an old jukebox. It was one of these things where I'm thinking, what if I call myself this guy? I've got the black hair, the sideburns, and slick my hair back, put a wife beater t-shirt on, and be like the guy on Snyder from One Day at a Time, was a TV show, very popular back then. This slimy little character that was a maintenance man at the apartment complex. And being in Mobile and Pensacola and Birmingham and Montgomery, Alabama, to see this sleazy, slimy, greasy, honky tonk man who can't be beat, nobody can beat him. People started hating me. So wrestling fans saw the black hair, and I had it fixed like this. Sideburns, they measured me and said they were going to bring me a Christmas present. They brought me a gold jumpsuit. The promoter saw the gold jumpsuit, the black hair, the sideburns, and asked me could I play guitar. And I said, no, I don't know anything about it. He said, that's even better. The worse you are, the more they'll hate you. I said, okay, so he brought a guitar. And it's like that. They started hating me. So I took the whole thing and I worked on it. And I got it pretty good. I was talking with this young fella here. He wrote a book about me. Some things in the book about me. And how I created this bad guy that people hated. But in the South, bad guys were not like bad guys are today. All the bad guys want to be cool bad guys. Ooh, I'm cool. I wanted people to come to see me get my beat. And the only way to do that was make them mad at you. Make them want to kill you. I had 8-year-old kids that wanted to commit murder. And they would have killed me. So I went to Calgary, Canada, met up with David Schultz again, the guy, Dr. D. Went up to Calgary, Canada, and Stu liked it. He loved the outfit and all this. Automatically, I was selling tickets and started to perfect this character to really make people hate me. Then I went to Vancouver. Vancouver had television like Atlanta TV. You guys might remember it, some of you don't. Atlanta TV came on at 5 o'clock every Saturday afternoon, and for 2 hours it went all across America on cable satellite TV, Ted Turner station. Well, they had the same thing in Canada. It went all across Canada every Saturday. All the Canadians had seen me and hated me. So I go to WWE, and Vince says, I want you to be a good guy. I see scarves and jumpsuits and glasses and wigs. I said, Vince, I didn't decide this thing that I'm doing. It's made for people who hate. No, they'll love you. They will. No, they didn't. The first TV tapings I was on, in fact, it was 3 shows. That was 3 weeks. Then the next day we did 3 more. That's 6 weeks of TV. And it was all taped in Canada, where everybody hated me. So as soon as I walked out of the curtain, 10,000 people in Toronto booed me out of the building. The next match booed me out. That's 6 weeks of all people in America. Now, because it's been showing in America, 6 weeks of television of you going out there and people booing you out of the building. And they've had to make a change. God bless Jesse Ventura said, let's do this thing. Do a vote of confidence. 1-800, vote for the Honky Tonk Man. We did that for 2 weeks. We announced the votes. Of course, nobody voted for me for confidence. And that was it. I was turned back to the bad guy, and I was off. I was doing what I could do, what I was comfortable doing, and making it work. And I knew how to make it work. I knew how to walk, how to talk, how to do these little dastardly deeds behind the referee's back, how to make an 8-year-old want to kill me. I would say things like, I'll be in Cedar Rapids, Iowa Saturday night. I'm not worried about the Macho Man. I can beat him anytime. What I'm doing is I'm going to come to town early. I'm going to walk the streets of Cedar Rapids, and I'm looking for a fight. And you know what? You know what, BG? There ain't nobody in Cedar Rapids going to fight. Nobody fight me. I'm the greatest of all time. Every person watching that said, if he comes down my street, I'll get his ass. And the buildings would fill up because they wanted to see me lose. Yes, ma'am. What do you got in there? You got presents for me? Here, I'll have that bottle of liquor there. Oh, I don't want that. I got one of those. That don't get me where I need to go. And about 6 o'clock tonight, I'm going somewhere. I'm going upstairs on the 16th floor. Maybe it's going to still be happy hours. But that's how it all happened. I just happened to walk by in the hallway of Buffalo, New York at the War Memorial. Hogan was talking to Vince in the hallway. Didn't know what they were talking about. I just happened to walk by. And Hogan said, What about him? And I slowed down and looked, and Vince said, well, maybe so. And Hogan said, I'll let you guys talk. And then Vince told me Steamboat had just won the belt from Savage 3 or 4 weeks before that. And he said, Steamboat's wanting time off. And he said, I can't. He said, I'm going to give him the time off, but I need the belt in the town. If I put this belt on you, will you run with it? I said, if you put the belt on me, Vince, I don't want a day off. I'll run with it as long as you want. If I don't sell tickets with it, you ain't got to fire me. I'll just walk away. And he said, fair enough. The belt was going to be put on, what was the kid's name from Kansas City? Butch Reed. But Butch was AWOL. He didn't leave Boston and make Buffalo. A lot of guys used to stay over in Boston. But anyway, he was AWOL and didn't come that night. I ended up beating Steamboat for the belt, and the rest is history. Yeah, that's how it all happened. I went from a mid-card, undercard guy to semi-main event, main event, all around the world.
Excellent. Well, I want to give fans a chance to ask
yes, let's let them talk.
So
I can talk for hours. Usually they tell me you got a moderator. I say, okay, great. Then the moderator sits there and never gets a chance to talk.
I love the stories.
Yeah, go ahead.
What was your favorite match and what was your hardest match?
Well, I had a lot of good matches, had a lot of bad ones. The most favorite, obviously, was winning the Intercontinental belt because it took me from down here to up here. I can't say they were bad matches, but they were demanding. Is when I got put with the Warrior. It was demanding, and he was very physical, very nervous. Even though he was all muscled up, he was out of shape. He didn't have the cardio. Lifting weights don't give you cardio. He had never been trained properly, and all I tried to do was keep him from killing me. Because he hurt me. Every time he touched me, he hurt me. But I didn't complain. I knew what my job was. They wanted him over, and I got him over. I made him a big star that night in 13 seconds. And it didn't hurt me. It didn't hurt me that night. And it didn't hurt me as my ability to sell tickets and draw a crowd because I was still hated no matter what. And it helped the company because they wanted him over. Hogan was leaving, and Hogan eventually left, and Vince was in love with this guy. He didn't care. But Vince says, get him over. And he said, but there's another thing. What? You're going to need return matches. Oh, God, please. How long? He said, 6 or 8 weeks. I said, geez, Vince. He said, listen, just get him over. Work with the guys on the front row. You know how to do that. Of course, I can go out here and work with you guys on the front row. Get Warrior down and have him begging me to help me because he's out of breath. Well, he's not going anywhere. And I come over and say, you can't fight. You don't want to fight me. If I come down there, you won't fight. Your girlfriend's stronger than you are. I work with a guy on the front row while he's crawling around. Then when he'd start to get up, I'd come back, kick him in, down he'd go. So anyway, that's how I did it. I had great matches with Macho Man. I had a long run with Macho Man and Liz, and we did some good stuff together. We even dressed Jimmy Hart up as Peggy Sue. Peggy Sue was Sherry Martel. She'd go out and wrestle with Sherry Martel, come back, put the outfit on, put the wig on, put the glasses on. Nobody knew it was her. Then Jimmy Hart put the wig on, put the glasses on, he went out. So we did entertaining stuff. I'm an entertainer. I was never a wrestler. I couldn't wrestle my way out of a paper bag. You know, I know how to defend myself. I don't know how to take somebody down and stretch them and make them squeal uncle. I don't know about that. I'm a song and dance man. That's why Valentine and I work very well together. He was the bully. He wanted to be a wrestler. And I'd go out and sing and dance and drop down and beg. And, you know, he was the tough guy. Let him get in there and beat these guys up. I'll stand up. I'm a good cheerleader. That's the way to get him. That's the way.
Teamwork.
Who's your favorite rivalry? Like ongoing? Who's your favorite guy to work with?
Well, the Macho Man thing was a really good. I mean, he was a little difficult because it was just his style, and I learned, I adapted to his style. I picked the pace up and did more things with him. Jimmy Snuka was more into what I slow, deliberate, you know, get behind him and hit him when he's climbing up and down he go. So we had a good little run together. I mean, I only got the leg dropped 3 times. And I went to the one-man gang here not so long ago. Because one-man gang was with Hogan for about 9 months. They had a long run together. Kamala had a long run with Hogan. But gang was with Hogan as the one-man gang for 3 or 4 or 5 months, and then as a team 3 or 4. So the gang was with him for a long time. And we were doing 9 shows a week. I asked Gang, I said, how is it working with Hogan with that leg drop? He said, I love legs. Okay. He said, man, it was good. I took 3 leg drops from Hogan. Each one of them paid $10,000. I understood what loving legs was about. I go to the chicken place now, I order legs. I wish Hogan could drop that leg on me 9 times a week. That's $90,000 a week, folks. I wish he'd drop it on me today. Right here on this stage. Now, if you're making $10,000 to take the leg, he's making 3 times that much to drop it on you. Yeah, I love legs. I would take it every night. Even though I'm 72 years old, I would go in there and lay down for that leg. Anybody else? Come on up close. Rhythm and blues. Valentine hated rhythm and blues. If you talk to him now, he says, I wish I would have done better at it. Well, yeah, they fired us because you didn't want to cooperate. Once we got him into black hair, he was really upset. I hate this black hair. I said, why? I can't get any girls. I said, well, I've had black hair for 35 years. It don't stop me from getting girls. I said, besides, you're married. What are you looking for girls for? So the first time he dyed his hair black, his wife didn't know it. He's standing on the curbside at the Tampa airport. She drove by, didn't recognize him, but he had black hair. And she didn't like the black hair. Oh, I'm a surfer boy. No, you're not. But he didn't want to do it. We were turned into, we had good matches with the Hart Foundation. We were actually going to win the tag team belts from the Hart Foundation until WWE Vince got the Road Warriors. When he got the Road Warriors, it put us behind the 8 ball. We were now expendable because Valentine he was not giving it the effort we needed. Then we got to be the comedy act with the Bushwhackers, where they come in and ding, hit the guitar in there, stomp, break the guitar. It was a comedy act. So when you start doing comedy stuff, you're pretty much on your way out. They sent Valentine to Japan. They sent me over to do commentary. with Daffy Duck, Roddy Piper. Couldn't get a word in edgewise. I finally just drifted away and quit. But the rhythm and blues thing, it could have been really good. We had a ton of heat because people hated me. They thought I had brainwashed Valentine to dye his hair black and put a half-ass jumpsuit on and go out and act like he could sing. So it would have been pretty good, I think, but it didn't pan out.
So you had a long career. Wrestling has changed a lot over time. In what ways has it, the good, the bad, the otherwise? What's sort of your take on it?
They're selling more tickets now than they ever have. I was at the Royal Rumble signing WrestleCon last weekend. The stadium had 65 or 70,000 people for a Royal Rumble. That's unheard of. The crowds were huge. The boys and girls now are making a lot more money. They all got $500,000 tour buses. Nobody gets to rent a car. You know, they all fly first class. They all stay in 4-star hotels, and they only work 100 days, not even 100 days a year. They don't work 3-4 days before the pay-per-view. They don't work 3-4 days after. We work the day before the pay. We worked the day before. I was in somewhere in Muskegon, Michigan, the night before WrestleMania 3. We drove into Detroit. Got in there at 3 o'clock in the morning. Had to be over at the building at 11 for WrestleMania 3. We didn't get that kind of time off. We all smelled like pigs. We'd been on the road for 85, 90 days. How was WrestleMania 3? We just wanted a day off to wash clothes. There was one thing in common. We all smelled the same. Yeah, and but that's you know, today these kids are doing stuntman stuff. They're running, they're jumping, they're flipping, they're doing. I'm surprised someone hasn't got killed, other than Owen Hart. Serious injuries. We're not stuntmen, we're wrestlers. You know, in Hollywood, everything, they got pads here, they got cables here that you don't see. There's 10 cables holding a guy. And these wrestling kids, they're not fans of pro wrestling. There are guys and girls there right now that if I walked into the building, they would not know who I am. They're fans of a TV show called Raw, SmackDown. They're fans of a big event, WrestleMania. They're not wrestling fans. They couldn't tell you who Dory Funk Jr. is. They couldn't tell you who Johnny Valentine was. They're not historical. They don't care about history. And that's the difference. But they don't have to. I couldn't do it. I learned to ride a bicycle one way. Handlebars, hands on the handlebars, butt on the seat, pedaling going forward. Not on the handlebars, pedaling going with my back, not looking where I'm going. I don't ride the bike that way. I don't climb to the top rope, and I don't do what do they call it?
American Run?
Yeah, well, I call it a 6-pack of Corona. Hell, if you can't say it, don't do it. And I can't even say it. So there you go. Anyway, how are we on time?
We're starting to wrap up, so maybe one more quick question.
One more. Good one.
We got one? Okay, all right. So,
Okay. Yes, sir. Really loud.
Was there anything involved in the decision for you to drop the title to the Warrior at SummerSlam in that fashion?
No. It was the one time that I actually had 100% creative control to do it my way. And I knew, I don't know, 6 months ahead of time, because Vincent told me he's going with this guy. Now, I could have said no, and I would have even fired me. I just built a new house in Memphis. I just had a new baby. I mean, I'm not, it would have been financial suicide to say no. They were done with me. I mean, I'm going to lose the belt. I mean, cut your losses. Go in there and say, hey, oh yeah, man. All I said was, I need to do it my way. He said, you have complete control. I learned a long time ago, sometimes less means a lot more. I could have gone out there for 7, didn't break my Hall of Fame ring. It's probably fake anyway. If I had gone out there for 7 or 8 or 10 minutes with him, it would have hurt me because it would have shown the fans that I am really not very tough because I couldn't carry him for that long. I had gotten to the point where I was about 8 minutes with him, where I could get a match out of him, but he's still tired crawling around. So the match would have been bad. It would have hurt me professionally. The company wanted him over. It would have hurt the company because it wouldn't have gotten him over. The people would have had him, and it wouldn't have helped him. So I thought about it, and I said, I'll go out on the microphone. I'll challenge anybody in the building. I don't care who it is, get me somebody out here to wrestle. I can't be beat. I'm the greatest of all time. Well, I've already set the stage for that 15 months before, right? That I can't be beat. Everybody wants to beat me. Everybody in that building knew they could beat me. And then his music hit. The match was made. And I gave him everything that he was to do to me. Run here, run there, hit me, boom, boom. I did not want him to pick me up, press me, and drop me. I didn't like that. I didn't like that move. And I said, hit me with that big flying tackle because he could get way up in the air and it looked great. And I said, hit me with flying tackle, run across the rope, and smash me. 1, 2, 3. It was the biggest pop I've heard ever in that building. Stone Cold's glass breaking there's nothing to that. It made him, it got the company where they needed to be to have a superstar ready for Hogan. And it made people hate me more because then I went on TV every chance and said, that belt's still mine. I had a contract to wrestle Brutus Beefcake. I didn't have that. That Warrior stole that belt. That belt belongs to me and I'm going to get it back. I'm getting it back Saturday night in Cedar Rapids. And I would come back with him, and he had the belt, and he would splash me again, just like he did at Madison Square Garden, but we had an 8 or 10 minute match. I got him up to about 15 minutes, then I passed him to Rick Rude. Rick Rude took him, carried him almost 30 minutes of a pay-per-view match, I forget what it was, a SummerSlam or one of those things, and had him. Rick Rude actually taught him how to work in the ring. Then he went on to Hogan, and that was it. But I didn't know him and Hogan had worked on their match for a month because Hogan didn't trust him. Hogan couldn't carry him. You know. Hogan had to go work out with him down in Florida, have a ring put down there in a building. I didn't have that opportunity. I had to grind it out of him. I had to take those hard punches to the temple. I had to get kicked in the ribs every night. This guy was 280, 290 pounds, man. He had 20-inch, real 20-inch arms. And he was on amphetamines and barbiturates and steroids. He's the kind of guy that if you seen a policeman tase him, he'd have just kept coming. I mean, he might have fought off a couple of bullets before he went down. He had all that juice flowing in him. And those arms looked like telephone poles. And when he hit me, I was already putting it in reverse. I was already, if you watch it in slow motion, he never got any closer than right here. I was already going back. Oh yeah.
Honky Tonk, man, looks like we're about out of time.
We're done.
And make sure, everybody, make sure you go support this young man over at
Yes.
his booth.
Come over to the table. I got something for you.
All right, well, thank you for joining us in Cedar
Thank you guys
Rapids.
so much.
Thank you, Honky Tonk.